Hey, what is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the show. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. We've got a killer episode lined up for you. This one's a little longer than usual. I debated on doing part one and part two, but I figured, I'd just give you guys a heads up in the beginning. I hope y'all can stay tuned to the end. This is an awesome story of a 6-year journey for this buck for our good buddy, Garrett Stoops of Ohio. It's a 190-inch buck that he chased for a long time. And this story was, I was trying to keep it around an hour, but it just didn't work out. There was a lot of really close encounters and just craziness that happened throughout this journey. The buck grew into around 200 inches at one point, and, Garrett was able to kill him. He had him aged and it was 7 years old. So really cool story. I wanted to just get this out there for Garrett and for you all to hear. A lot of little mishaps and stuff like that. I think we can all relate to Garrett's story and just, getting into hunting and bow hunting and the journey along the way. But man, what a treat to have such a giant to chase after. So let's give a huge thanks to our sponsors that make this possible for us. Lone Wolf Custom Gear, Osseo Gear, Painted Arrow Outdoors, and Timberwolf Supply Company. I hope you guys are following each and every one of these companies out there. If you guys are looking to get anything from Painted Arrow Outdoors, please use code RUNANDGUN15 at checkout and save yourself 15%. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on with the show schedules as far as Osseo Gear and Lone Wolf. Just got word. I think we're going to be at a couple of the TAC events. Lone Wolf Custom Gear is going to be attending them. I think the one in Pennsylvania at the Seven Springs and the one in Michigan. So stay tuned for more updates on that. Our quote of the week this week is a really good one from Jordan Peterson. I hope you guys really enjoy this. It's a little deep, but I really liked it, and I hope y'all do too. The pathway to what's most real is through the hardest things that you can do. I hope you guys enjoy that. It's absolutely the truth. Do some hard stuff and grow as a person, as a hunter, and don't be afraid to push the boundaries. With that being said, guys, let's get into today's episode with Garrett Stoops. So what's going on, Garrett? Man, it's a pleasure to have you on here. I know we've been talking about doing this for probably the past couple months, man. I was dying to have you on here and tell your story about your giant from this past season.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, I don't know, probably since the beginning of the year, I'd say, or so. So our schedules, trying to get lined up.
Yeah, man. It's tough, I know. And then we had the show circuit and all kinds of other stuff going on. And yeah, it was good to catch up with you in Ohio and get to see you there and get to we got to talk to each other in Harrisburg too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was there all week, so.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, dude, I'd love for you to just give a little intro about, I'm sure some of our listeners know who you are, but for those guys out there that don't know about you, just give us a little background about yourself.
I'm from Central Ohio. I really actually haven't been deer hunting all that long. I'll be 33 this year, and I started probably when I was, 15, 16. And I killed a handful of, very immature deer that probably had great potential, but I didn't know any better at the time. So my uncle actually told me, if you want to kill a big deer, you need to get a bow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know any better. I found a old Horton crossbow, and that's what I started hunting with. Had zero luck with it. I mean, zero.
Really?
Actually, I bumped the limbs on a shooting rail and cost me a pretty big deer that was almost right underneath me. I was probably, 17 or 18 at that point, so maybe 20. So then I went to college, and that was pretty brief, but my mom and I got in a big argument because she wanted me to pay for college books and I want to buy a compound bow. So we met in the middle. I ended up buying a bow. She helped me with books. I bought some books, but I ended up taking my first compound bow kill. He was just a big mainframe 7-pointer, and actually my brother missed him the same night, and he ran right up to my decoy. So we weren't very far apart, but we hunt very small acreage and parcels here.
Okay.
we don't have anything that we hunt that's bigger than probably 30 acres.
I got you.
So that
So
makes it
small
very
parcels.
tough.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, and you're in an area that a lot of guys are hunting too, so
Oh,
so
it is
pressure
insane.
really bad. Yeah,
Yeah, very, very.
I got you.
I don't have a piece of property that all four sides are hunted.
Yeah, and
So
you're a dad
it's,
too. I wanted you to
yeah,
throw that in there. So
yep.
yeah,
I got three
how many?
boys.
Three boys. Yeah, you're a busy guy, man.
A
What do you do
10-year
for
old.
work?
I am a full-time painter on my own.
Okay,
So
cool. So it gives you
very
some more
busy.
freedom to like be flexible with your time in the woods too.
Yeah. Also a baseball coach. So like this time of year, going into fall, we're slammed. And of course, like it never fails. I want to take a couple weeks off work, and that's when I get absolutely slammed during hunting season. But I make
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I got you.
So,
I got you. So, you started off, it sounds like you got into college. I mean, when did you really get bit by the bug for chasing like big bucks?
um, I shot. I don't know. I got 5 or 6 on the wall, I think. And when my uncle had said, you need a compound bow. That's you're going to see a lot more deer because you're not just gun hunting or whatever else.
Hmm.
So I really started hunting probably hard in 2015, 16, probably.
Okay.
Um, with not a whole lot of success with a bow in my hand. I mean, I was killing does left and right.
Yeah.
Um, but once you can only kill 3 in your county, so once 3 deer combined, so two does and a buck. Once I was filled my doe tags, I just was buck hunting the rest of the year. I killed that first one, and then actually in 2018, my middle son was due mid-December. So the first nice deer that I saw at compound, I was killing. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't about maturity or size, or if it
No,
was
no,
nice,
man.
I was killing him.
Yeah, you
Because
were out
I
there
knew
enjoying
I
it.
knew once he was here, I wasn't gonna hunt a whole lot.
Right, right.
Uh,
No,
so I
that's
actually
cool, man.
shot
I
one the night
respect that.
before the baby shower.
There you go. That's awesome.
It didn't go well because I had to find it the next morning, but
I got you.
we found him, so he's a nice 8 point. But
Sweet.
so then after that, um, I mean, man, the trail camera pictures that I could show you were unreal of the deer that we were chasing after that, and the one I ended up
Yeah,
taking
I
this
mean,
year,
you are in a really good area for quality whitetails, right? Am
it's
I right in
insane.
saying that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know why, I don't know what happened. If it's always been this way, I'm not real sure, to be honest, but it's very good. Has been last probably 10 years. So
yeah, man. That's sweet. So, let's kind of get into this story. I know we've talked about this before about you're like, man, I reached out to you. I'm like, man, I'd love to, get a really cool in-depth like buck profile on this deer. Cause I mean, we had talked about him last year at the shows and then you killed him this year and it was just really cool, man, to like just be a small part of the journey along with you. I know like every once in a while you'd share some stuff with me here and there, and it was just awesome to see you get it done on this deer. But I know the story is long, and your history with him started a long time ago. Um, so I mean, just kind of enter it in there. Like let's just start in the beginning, like kind of maybe when you first got him on camera. Like was he a young deer and you knew he had potential, or
so I actually in 2018, that was the very first year I got pictures of him, and I remember it was like yesterday. I got a trail camera picture of him, sent him to my wife, and I'm like, have we had pictures of him all summer? And we were back and forth that night, and she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, he's really nice, but
yeah,
he's young, and I'm just getting into starting to listen to Don Higgins and trying to learn some maturity of deer and letting them go and getting better age class deer. And so on the way to my stand opening weekend, had some pictures of him the night before, and my wife's like, "Don't kill him. You'll be so mad at yourself.
yeah?
Just don't
What
kill
was
him."
he back then when you first got him?
So he was 2.5, and he
Yeah,
was probably 140.
yeah,
And I don't have a deer of that caliber on the wall. I mean, and
right.
so it's like, how can I not kill him? But
Yeah, man, that's
this
a
is
lot of
only
discipline.
so I get my stand opening weekend in 18, and he's the first deer I see. And he
Yeah,
come to 8 yards, 8 in the
yeah,
acorns, and all I did was run the video camera on him. I'd never touched my bow, and I was told I was stupid by a lot of people,
Yeah.
and
That happens.
as the years
Just gotta let that go.
progress,
Yeah.
I felt kind of stupid. So he lived all through there, or all early season. We get into gun season. My wife's never killed a deer. We were out there together. I was begging my brothers not to shoot him, and I had told my wife, I'm like, if you see him, you've never killed a buck. I can't tell you no. If you see him, whatever. So last day of gun season, I had a buddy with me. He was in the neighbor's field, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey, that 10 points in the field. Can I shoot him?" And I said, "Absolutely not. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Just let him go." They come down through the woods, and my wife calls me, and she's like, "I see him. I see him." I'm like, "Your call." I hear the gun go off, and she misses him,
Oh,
and
man.
she's devastated.
Oh,
I am
man.
deep down, I'm
You're
relieved
like cheering and
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I felt terrible for her, but yeah,
Inside,
it was.
you were like
Yeah,
cheering for
inside I'm
joy.
like, oh yes, he
Yeah.
might get to live.
Yeah.
So honestly, hindsight 2020, she might have did me a favor because he kind of became a ghost after that.
Right.
So I did not take a buck in 19. No, I killed that one in 18. I'm sorry. So I couldn't even shot him, so it wouldn't have mattered. And then in 19, I got early pictures of him, and he just exploded. And I had actually a really wide deer on camera that was definitely older, and I had pictures of him all summer together. But he was low 60s at 3.
Wow. Yeah.
And I just told myself I wasn't killing him. That really proved everything I thought as a 2-year-old. He really could be special and be a giant.
Yeah.
So we got all the way into gun season. I was chasing that big one. Our gun season's a week after Thanksgiving here in Ohio. And the real wide one was 26 inches wide. And just, he was like a yardstick. And he became a ghost until gun week. It got real cold, and it was nonstop. I mean, every night.
Yeah.
So I get up one morning, and I'm pretty sure I've got a good chance to kill him, and my truck won't start. So yeah, so to get through that pretty quick, he goes through gun week, goes into gun Sunday, and the big wide one gets killed in the neighbor. So now I'm retracting my thoughts of I can't not chase a 160. Like there's no reason to not. I'm only hunting 15 acres. The odds of him living to potentially 200 in our area are slim to none anyways. There's public pretty close. My neighbor's hunt, there's a highway that runs, my property runs narrow, pretty long along the highway. So I'm just like, if I see him, I gotta shoot him. That was the worst bow hunting season of my life. I had shot over a target deer, a different target. I had wounded one, I do believe. I missed a couple does. I mean, if it could go wrong, it went wrong. So I hung the compound up, grabbed the crossbow. It was freezing cold, January 20th. He comes in. I stick him at 28 yards. And I thought it was over. And he bound out of there. And we tracked blood for, 400 or 500 yards, got to an open field. We backed out, went in the next morning. I got permission from the landowner. And he actually let me walk by him at 10 yards. He was laying on a hillside in a waterway and had that wound he was laying with that wound up against that hill. And I was walking with the wind past him, and when I came back up that waterway, we were face to face at probably 15 yards, and I thought he was dead, so I didn't have a bow in my hand. So again, very thankful that
get up and roll out.
Oh, he got up and took off. Yeah, he stood 40 yards and looked at me, and I could see wasn't a fatal shot. I could tell he was going to be okay. It was high, kind of in no man's land.
I gotcha.
So
I hate that, man. I think
sick.
No matter where you're at, it all happens to all of us, man. Eventually, it's such a bummer.
And that was, he was. I shot a really big 8-point. Didn't find him. Missed one, and then he was my third one for the year. Like it was, like I said, if it could go wrong, it went wrong.
Yeah.
So and then of course I'm kind of a hypocrite because I'm not a crossbow guy, but I had a crossbow in my hand because my season was just going so bad. And so shoot him, don't find him. End up finding both of his sheds that year, in our block of woods, but from where we had last seen him, almost a half mile. So he just had done a big loop and finally found his sheds, and I found both sheds in mid-March.
Nice.
So that was a sign of relief that he was alive and healthy, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I got them right here. So
Shoo. Yeah.
he
I,
he was
I
3.
I'd have a hard time passing that deer too, man.
Yeah, he's 3.
Yeah.
So and so I broke. He was,
Yeah. For those
I
of you
think.
guys that aren't watching the video, it's like just a clean, beautiful 10-pointer. I mean, really an 11. It's like a 6x5,
Yeah,
but
yeah, he
God, man, it's
had this
just
little
impressive.
split brow. So we go
Yeah.
into the following season, and he's going to be 4, and I'm just waiting to get trail camera pictures. I hang cameras in early July, run mineral sites, and I mean, literally, maybe the day I hung a camera, a day after, I don't remember, there he was, and he was perfectly healthy, and I was mind blown because,
Yeah.
you shoot one, and they're going to grow in funky or, throw something off crazy or not have a strong side, and he was actually even more symmetrical.
Yeah.
So we go all the way
That's
through
wild.
his. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. We're reconnecting. Go all the way through his 4.5-year-old season, to Thanksgiving week, and he was nonstop daylight the week of Thanksgiving. And what was really weird is he was coming out of my neighbor's cut cornfield into our timber with the wind. And so I watched like 3 or 4 days, and we scout from the highway. Honestly, if I pull over, put my 4-ways on, it's probably not the safest thing, but I don't have a whole lot of options. So,
Yeah.
Black Friday, I told my wife, like, we're not going shopping. I'm going deer hunting. She's like, okay. So I get in, deer all around me. At this point in time, I was running a bait pile because, again, I'm on 15 acres and it's tough to get deer. It was pretty open woods.
Yeah.
So it's more of just a travel corridor than, holding them.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really nice deer at 20 yards almost all night, basically, back and forth on the feed. And right before dark, he comes just like clockwork out of the neighbors with the wind. And I'm like, cool, here we go. Gets to 28 yards, and he had circled downwind in the corn, and he stopped, and I drew, and I'm colorblind. So he stops next to a cherry tree in the low light of woods, and I'm trying to use a red 30-yard pin.
Okay.
I can't find him anywhere.
I got you.
So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna force anything. So I try to let my draw down, and I bump my release.
Oh no.
And he, at that point, you're sick to your stomach. Like, did you hit him? Where did I just hear an arrow ricochet.
Yeah.
Never found the arrow, the knock, anything. So I was sick. And then gun week's the following Monday. So it's like, I just spooked him out of our woods. Where's he going to end up?
Right.
So, nothing all week of gun. And I'm just concerned, like, he got killed. Like, there's no way he lived. I spooked him last Friday. He's gone. Whatever. So that Friday, I got a picture of him, probably half-mile from there, and he was healthy. I was thankful. But then Saturday morning, that little block or little thicket, I got a picture of a guy in orange, and I was like, "Oh man, this, he's all over him." So then that'd have been Saturday morning a gun. The following Monday, I got a picture of him with just one side, and he was
Wow.
snapped
Really?
right at his brow.
That's good.
So
So hopefully people would pass him.
right. So I don't
Right.
know if that guy bumped him and, let some lead fly at him on the run because, I mean, that thicket, you can almost see through the whole thing. So I'm sure on his
Yeah.
way
Like,
in or out or something,
you think it was just weird that
it's.
he cracked his antler? I mean, you don't think was there any other big deer in the area that like
I sure
he
don't
would have
think so.
fought
And he
with?
wasn't hit by
Yeah.
a car. Because he looked perfectly healthy.
Okay.
Unless my arrow hit that main beam. But
I don't think so. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think
I
so
think you'd
either.
have known that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
That's
because he
wild.
wasn't broke immediately. So.
Right. Yeah.
So at that point, I was hunting another deer. Like he had broke, so I was like, whatever, I'm gonna move forward. I did talk to a guy at one of the shows. He's like, if you kill him, I could probably just fix him. If you got a lot of trail camera pictures. So that kind of was in the back of my mind, like maybe, we're on year 3 of history. So if I get an opportunity, maybe.
Yeah.
But there was another deer running with him that was not anything exceptional at all, but he was a mature deer. And I was like, if I see him, I'm going to try to kill him, I guess.
Yeah.
And we had named that deer Max because he looked like the dog off Grinch. He had one antler his
Okay.
first year of growth, and he had a little knob right coming out by his eye and ear, and then he finally ended up growing a full rack at 6, and the neighbor guy
Okay.
killed him. So
I
I did
gotcha.
have an encounter with both of them late season, and ran my camera arm right along my tree and spooked him.
Man.
So, yeah, me and the camera
Lot
don't.
of like, learning curves going on here,
Oh,
man. I feel like
so many.
you really like I'm really enjoying like this, and I mean, I'm not trying to laugh at your pain. It's just like it's just good to hear. I think for a lot of other people, just like the realistic side of like the blooper reels, that like the shit that goes on that you don't hear about, that like guys that you might really admire, like everybody makes mistakes and like stuff happens. It's just deer hunting. It is what it is.
It it was tough. I mean, it was tough. It was,
Yeah,
no joke, sleepless nights. And honestly, I think I cried a couple times on the stupid mistakes, like just
I'm
upset
sure,
with
man.
myself.
Just because you wanted
And
it so bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, honestly, my life is a freaking saint because after the
yeah.
first couple hiccups, it was this deer, no deer. And over
Hmm.
these last couple of years, the deer that I've let walk or pass or had an opportunity to hunt and chose to give him another year, not chase them because it was him or nothing, because I poured everything into him.
Yeah.
So, um, at
So
4,
now he's at what? He's 4 or 5.
he was 4 going into 5.5, or he was
Okay.
4.5 going into 5.5,
Right.
which would have been the year of 22.
Okay.
So, um, 20, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 22. He'd have been 4.5. So going into 23 is 5.5.
Right.
So didn't find any antlers at 4. I don't know anybody that did. I
Like
did.
were you getting trail camera pictures from any of your neighbors? Like, do you communicate with your
Uh,
neighbors or no?
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
not at all.
I got you.
It is. I have a really big hunter to the east. Absolutely zero info from that gentleman. There is a kid to the south of me. Him and his brother hunt it. I went to school with the farmer's boy, and I had permission to access,
Yeah.
and that got cut out when they started hunting. And it just, honestly, as the years progressed, it got harder and harder because there was more pressure, no access, um, other people, hunting closer and closer,
Hmm.
and I've got 15 acres of timber. That is literally all I can hunt, and then a tree
Right.
line in the next farm east. So, because we're landlocked, so I just got an easement.
Hmm.
So into 5.5, got some really early July pictures, and I could not believe it. I mean, he was going to be. I originally thought he was going to be 200 inches.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, early June, he was super. I mean, just beams wide, and he had never had a big frame on him at all. He was 18 max probably, and he was probably going to be pushing 20 that year.
Yeah.
And I was using some cell cams that year, and every 30 days they wipe your cameras clean for storage space, and I didn't know it, and I wasn't saving pictures.
Oh wow.
So I have nothing from early season of him that year.
Oh man.
But he also became a ghost. I
Yeah.
mean, end of September, he completely disappeared, gone. And I have a small fence row that I always run cameras on up and down north and south, and I run them east and west all through our woods, and then along the highway east and west out in that farmer's field. So, no sightings, no trail camera pictures, and I had let a couple of pretty nice deer walk. I was another farm I was hunting had a mid 190s, I would assume, and a mainframe 14 that was probably, I was assuming just as big 90s.
Yeah.
I ended up having the big 11 point at I mean, point blank, 11 yards, 10 yards, and I couldn't move. He come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So neighbor guy killed him 4 days later. He went 192 as a
Oh
mainframe
man.
9 with a big kicker. And
I mean, you
then
just go from like killing what? How? Let's just gauge like where your 7-pointer was. What was he like? Was he Pope and Young or?
yeah, I mean, he was 30s.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I have
you
nothing bigger than 135-inch deer in the wall.
no, but I'm just saying the bar here is like insane, dude. I mean,
And
personally, like I've only chased one deer that is like actually, a 200-inch deer, and that was just out of dumb luck. And like it was as soon as it came in my life, he was gone pretty much. Like right when I felt confident about what I was doing, there it goes.
he was
And he
gone.
was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got killed. So
We've been fortunate enough since probably 17 to chase a booner.
okay.
Between my wife and I, she was after one for a long time, and I thought she was going to kill me if I went and tried to kill him, so I just stayed out.
I
She was
gotcha.
pretty dead
That's
set on hunting him.
That's
But
awesome. I think it's going to be
we're
like
still
that for my wife. She's slowly wanting to get back into it, with us having younger kids just like you. It's like,
yeah.
I'm really
We
lucky
got
if she gives me the time to go out, but now she's like, all right, I think it's my turn to get out there and kill a giant this, and she's
I
picky
tell
as
her,
shit. It's crazy.
oh dude, and
Yeah.
my wife was the same way. She passed up
She's
deer
like,
after
well,
deer after deer.
yeah, I'm like, well, I'm married to you. I want to kill a big deer. I see all the deer. I'm like, you got to start somewhere, man. I mean, you've only shot like a basket rack. Like, let's give me something to
Right?
work with here. Like, that's a great deer. Why don't you go after that? Nah, he's not big
And
enough. I'm like,
yeah,
man,
that's a
kills him.
whole
Yeah,
nother story, because I told her the same thing, and
it
she's
sounded
like, nope,
similar. I figured you'd.
he's got to be mature. He's got to be
Yeah,
mature. We're not shooting
uh-huh.
2-year-olds because they won't see 3. And I'm like, I can't
Shoot,
I can't
even,
argue that. Like,
even for her, like I'm giving her mature deer, and she's like, yeah, but he's not that big. And I'm like, they're not all mega giant. What? I mean, come on. Like, why don't it is what it is. It's just comical though. Like
she's killed
you're
3 back to
pick-eared and
back to
shit.
back gun seasons.
That's awesome. My
She's
my wife won't pick up the gun. She doesn't want to. I'm like, she's diehard wanting to deal with the bow, and I'm like, hey, like that's another animal. You need to practice more, blah blah blah. But without jumping down that wormhole,
yeah,
So she's working on that this year. So I'm proud of her.
she's taken 2 does with her bow, but I keep telling her, I'm like, this year we're bow hunting. Like, let's hit it hard. And she gets the whole early season because of her work schedule. So before time
Well,
change,
there you go.
I give it to her.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
and I like to hunt in the cold and the snow anyway, so it works really well, honestly. So I told
Yeah.
everybody for a long time, getting her into hunting was the worst thing I ever did, because now we fight for tree time space. Or, yeah, tree time. But
yeah, now she's in competition. Now she's gonna shoot you to the side because you killed, a giant. She'll be like, no,
yeah,
now it's my turn. So,
yeah,
all right.
she's had some nice ones.
This buck, all right. So now he's at 5 years old. You
Yep.
think he's 200 inches. Tell me how that went. Like that transpired, like that whole season with him. Like any
Well,
encounters or?
0. He was a ghost. So that's why I was hunting one of them other 2 on that other farm, because I honestly thought he got killed. Hit on the road. I mean, in the way social media is, you'd think you'd see a picture, but
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the Amish don't have social media, and they're everywhere. So,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason he couldn't have been killed or hit on the road and somebody picked him up. So, and he was known to cross 2 county roads a lot. I mean, a lot. So I just had wrote him off basically. In the back of my mind, I wanted to tell myself he was alive. But I was hunting these other 2, and the night, October 30th, I don't ever get to hunt Halloween because of trick or treat, ever.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I'm with you. Unfortunately,
whatever happened that night, trick or treat was a different night. So I got to hunt October 30th and 31st, and I had an encounter with the 190-inch deer. Couldn't shoot him. He was clear off to my. Oh, I didn't tell you a big thing. I tore my labrum playing fast pitch that summer. So sold my bow, started over completely. Actually was hunting that whole fall with a crossbow because I couldn't pull a bow back.
Right.
So
that's respectable. There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, and I postponed surgery because I worked for myself, and I just kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And, deep down, and it's not how I wanted to take a big deer, but I wasn't going to not go to the woods. I mean,
No,
I
no,
live
I
for it,
wouldn't either. I would go get a
so like,
crossbow if I couldn't
yeah.
draw my bow. I mean,
So,
I wouldn't feel the same way, but I mean, I would definitely be out there. I couldn't, can't
yeah,
keep you out,
I
can't
was,
keep me out, you know?
cannot keep me out. I was going
No,
one way or another. So
right?
I talked to my surgeon and I'm like, hey, we got to get through gun week. Like, I want an opportunity at gun week. Get through gun week. Didn't kill him. Didn't see him. I postponed surgery again. My wife's like, you can't do this the whole deer season. I'm like, yes, I can.
Yeah,
And I
I'm
probably
going to.
will at this point.
Yeah,
So, uh, ended up mid-December, he hit a non-cell camera. And I'm like, where in the heck has he been? And I mean, he was insane. I had a video of him and like, I was like, there's no way he's not high 90s,
yeah.
205 somewhere. Like he was awesome. And he was
And
clean
were
and
you getting? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so I mean, you didn't mention, but you work with Domain Seed. Did you do a lot of like prep work on this 15 acres for like food plots and stuff like that? Like
it's,
what was your
it's all
strategy?
timber.
Like scrapes or
I mean, I've only had one set of pictures of him on a scrapes his entire life.
okay,
Um, because I can't touch the one south tree line that he was always in the farmer's field.
okay,
That's where our property line kind of goes through the middle of the woods. It's weird, and I can't hunt that south side. So
right. I was just curious
zero
what you were
cameras.
trying to do. I mean, I
Yeah,
know like
yeah.
you work with those guys, and I figured you were maybe trying to do everything you could like habitat wise to make them
Well,
comfy at your place.
so that actually was like the first year I started doing some small plots and stuff. And out there, I did some throw and grow type of stuff. The No BS product I'd thrown in the woods, and it just didn't do well.
I got you.
Um,
Yeah.
whether it was the soil or me or whatever. So, and actually to jump back to October 30th, something was in the air that night because I saw both big deer. I saw them at the other farm, and when I pulled a non-cell, he was actually on a scrape that night. And that's the first picture I had of him since within over a month. But then he disappeared again. I think I had like early November pictures of him, and then he was gone again until mid-December. So like I just could not figure out where he was going. But yet he seemed to be on me almost year round, other than a couple weeks at a time. Like he was pretty homebodied, but then he would just disappear.
Yeah.
So, um, I knew a guy that was hunting across the road. We conversed a little bit, and without telling him, hey, there's a giant, I was like, hey, have you seen any nice deer? And he's like, nope, nothing. So I'm like, well, he's gone. Like, what,
Yeah.
So mid-December, I pulled some cards, and there he is. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, he was insane.
Yeah,
So
and
it
you
was the
guys are
week right.
lucky in Ohio too. I mean, you got until like up past February, right?
First weekend in February.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I'm like, I got time. It's not a big deal. I'll keep hunting in the snow. I love it. Not if I have to, I'll throw some feed out again. Um, he was very familiar with the feed pile. I don't love it, but unfortunately, if you're not doing it, he's probably going to somebody else's feed pile.
Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
So, um, we have a second gun week the weekend before Christmas every year, and he had been in that cut cornfield a lot the week before. So I'm just like, I'm gonna sit with my shirtwell cartridge rifle and pray I at least get some intel on him somewhere. And nothing Saturday. No pictures, no sign, and I think he probably just hunkered down. And then Sunday, I don't ever leave right at shoot light because it's still daylight. So, I'm sitting right along basically the highway in a ladder stand, and I'm unloading my gun. I'm getting ready to get down, and I just see something crest the hill, and all I can see is a frame, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no doubt it was him, but he was
Right.
600 yards away. It was 5 minutes after shoot light already, but I was like, where did he come from? There's nothing anywhere close to where he came from. There's literally a tree line, and it goes, ag fields do this both ways, and they're
Right.
both 80-acre ag fields. So the next day, I didn't go to work. First thing in the morning, I went to right where he came out from, and I looked down, to the east to see, and there was two little thickets, and I took a camera down there. Well, I got permission, actually from an Airbnb owner, And he's like, hey, as long as you're not disrupting my clients, I don't care. Do what you got to do. Which I was shocked because that's not,
Yeah,
where
right.
you,
Super cool
yeah,
guy.
it's not the place you expect to get the, yeah, go ahead,
No.
golf.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just had to find a way in and out basically without the two cabin people seeing me. So hung a camera. Literally that night, there he is. The next night, there he is. The next night, there he is. And I'm like, okay, I'm close. Sweet.
yeah. Right.
And
Would the guy give you
so
permission to hunt or what?
so I called him and I talked to him on the phone. I'm like, hey, this is kind of where we're at, or what I need to do. And he's like, again, as long as my customers don't know you're there, I do what you got to do. And I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So
How
I
much
went in
acreage was
and
that?
oh, when I tell you what I was actually hunting is maybe an acre.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably
No,
owns
I
6 or
get it.
8,
Like, you don't
but
know this, but I grew up hunting, and like when I lived in Maryland, I hunted a ton of suburban, and I would have like 10 or 12 properties, and most of them were 2 to 3 acre properties. So I
yeah,
was
I mean,
doing
and
a very similar style like what you were doing, just trying to find big deer, and I get it. So I'm relating
they
to
have a
you.
hole somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
got to find that
there's
hole.
some really big deer. Like for me, it was a lot easier for me to drive a half hour than 2 hours to go find big deer.
Right.
So take it for what it is.
So I didn't really want to hack into his pine trees and hang a stand.
Yeah.
So I cut 2 limbs off the bottom and I took my turkey hunting chair and I sat under a pine tree every single night for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
never saw a deer one. Something was wrong because when I was leaving, he was there.
So he's watching
So
you.
it never registered at the time,
Right.
but I literally got to my truck one day, put my tailgate down, and I get a cell camera picture, and he's literally there. I mean, we're talking 200-yard walk to the truck, and he's there.
Yeah.
So I passed him on the way out,
Right.
and I'm dumbfounded, and I just can't. I'm on Onyx, and I'm looking, I'm like, he's got to be where I'm at, but he's literally just not moving because I'm there.
Yeah.
So then I didn't hunt one night, and he daylighted, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Just 100% feel defeated at that point
Uh-huh.
because I'm fighting, getting in on the back side of the property because of the Airbnbs. And so I can't use the driveway, which would be my concealment 100%. Like there's a row of pine trees between where I'm coming from and where he's probably at. So
I'd be like on
I,
the phone with the guy that owns the Airbnb. I'm like, can you just give me a heads up when you don't have a customer in there? Cause like, I'm like stupid close to killing this deer. Or I don't know.
so I,
I mean, you
I
don't want to lose
actually,
permission, but like, I mean, I would reach out and be like, hey, can you just let me know if you don't have a client? Like, I'd be happy to pay you a little bit of money. Just sorry for the hassle, but
and I don't like to bug people, but I actually ended up getting on the website and looking for booked nights that weren't booked. And there was,
I was
dude,
just thinking, I'm like, did you book it? Did you like just book it for 2 days so you didn't have to worry about
had
it?
had the price of both cabins not been out astronomical for
Yeah.
one night, I'd have done it. I
Right.
mean, 100%. And my wife and I were like, just book it for the weekend gun. Like,
Yeah.
why not?
Right.
So, I mean, and we like to gun hunt. We love to gun hunt, but I
Just go in
really
the
want to kill
cabin.
him with a
Prime.
bow. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, trust me, it crossed my
Oh,
mind numerous
God.
times.
That's hilarious.
So, uh, we get into mid-January and probably early January, and I mean, he's still coming, still coming. I mean, and I've hunted and I'm running out of time, and I've accessed a couple different routes, and I'm like, he's still watching me from somewhere, but I don't know where. So we have a little show called the Mount Hope Show here, and me and my buddy and kids and wife always go. So we went down there one day, that year. On the way home, I drove by and there's a coyote out in the field, and we had been calling coyotes the night before. So I pulled into the lane and hit the coyote call, and that dog come running, and I shot that dog, and he was a lot farther than I thought he was, and I didn't hit him great, and he took off running, and I put another one into him. Well, he disappeared into a thicket. And my buddy goes, there he is, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And out of that thicket runs this buck. And I'm
Really?
like,
Yeah.
no freaking way.
Yeah.
So he was not in the thicket that I was hunting. He was in a thicket in the middle of the ag field watching my entire move. I mean,
Okay.
in and out. If I was putting feed down, if I was hanging a stand, it didn't matter where I was in the field, he could see me.
Yeah.
So 100% I was defeated. Like there was no way. And I can't touch that half of the ag field.
Right.
So I was dumbfounded, but boy, it clicked immediately. Like,
Yeah.
I've
Things
got to
started
change
making more
something.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got to change something for the rest of, I got 2 or 3 weeks left at this point, or next year. So, like a week maybe goes by, and he hit a camera clear over closer to my mom's property, and then over at an old mineral site over there at that Airbnb property, and he had dropped an antler. So I'm like, not chasing him. It's, now it's time to move forward to his the 23 season, and I've got to get a game plan because now I know where he's living.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to call that landowner of where he was living, but at the same time, I knew he was safe there, and no one else had permission,
Right.
and there was no way, unless it was corn, that I was getting in and out of there. Zero.
Right.
So they come in and they put beans in, and I'm just like, forget it. Like, I'm not even gonna make the phone call because it's not gonna accomplish anything I want it to. So I just kept hunting my mom's, and I hunted the tree line to the west a couple times, and I tried to come in under the cover of dark and get in the mornings, and I'm not a morning hunter by no means, and he's probably back in bed before then, but I was just hoping to catch him in that ag field on my
Mm-hmm.
side
Yeah.
before daylight or before dark. Me get in while he's out there in the dark and going back to bed in daylight, hopefully, and it just never happened. So he actually went downhill that year. So I did find I ended up having surgery on February 14th. Happy Valentine's
Mm-hmm.
Day. My wife was not impressed with me. But I couldn't work. I mean, I was in a sling for 11 weeks, so I walked an 80-acre cornfield. I was high 90s. He had lost that antler in there, and every row, back and forth, until I just couldn't take it any longer. And then I walked the waterways a third time, and then me and the kids and the wife and the dogs went and walked in. I was like, it's in here. I know it's in here, but it's cut corn. Even an 80-inch antler is going to be tough to find. So we looked and we looked and we looked, and I called my buddy, and I'm like, dude, I need a second set of eyes. Like, I'm not giving up. And I was ready to give up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're going to make one last lap, across the corn rows. I have a Polaris Ranger, and we were going back and forth on that. And literally a waterway, we had walked 4 times. I locked the brakes up and found this.
Damn. What did that measure out at?
88 and an eighth, I think.
That is one beautiful 5-point side right there, man. Look at that.
So, we were figuring the other side. He had a kicker, like a 5-inch kicker here.
Yeah.
So with 88 and an eighth, he was just right under 200, depending on his spread, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, now you got extremely high hopes. He lived. He's going to be, 210 typical in 23.
Right. Hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah, if he
23.
keeps growing, right? But he
if
didn't.
he keeps growing, but he's going to be 6.5. But,
Right.
you're just really hoping. And I got a video from one of my buddies that works for the farmer. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I think I just saw your buck. And I'm like, who's with you? And he's like, this guy. I'm like, does anybody else have that video? And he's like, no. And I'm like, don't send it to anybody. Don't tell anybody. Like, please. You have no idea the time and effort.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
I said, but why? When you're there, just keep tabs. If you keep seeing him, let me know.
Yeah.
And he was actually laying in those beans. So I'm super glad I stuck to my gut.
Yeah, when you told me that, I'm thinking I'm like, those beans are probably going to help you out, honestly.
Yeah, so he was laying in them and right on the edge of a waterway where I assumed. So I hung a camera on that waterway, got lots of pictures of him earlier, and I'm like, he's big, but he's not big. Like I was dumbfounded, and he had went down probably 30 inches.
Yeah.
So,
It happens.
and I was like,
I think a lot of it has to do with the nutrition that year and stuff. Their
and
overall health. Like some years they just blow up huge. I mean, I've talked to a lot of my friends that have killed way, way bigger deer than I have, and they all say the same thing. It's like you just got to have the right timing, the right genetics, the right amount of rain, the right amount of food. That's what really grows like giant racks, you know, and having a really healthy deer.
So he was 6, and I was really, hoping he'd go. He didn't do what I wanted him to, but I didn't care. I mean, at that point, it
Yeah,
wasn't about the
absolutely.
score. I mean,
And still,
we're
what do you
talking
think
on.
you think he was still like 170s or?
He was mid-60s. I ended up finding an antler.
Okay.
So let's see. The beans were planted late, so I thought that was in my favor to get in and hunt the standing beans. And I can't make this shit up. 2 weeks before season, I drive by, and they went from bright green to literally brown overnight.
Yeah.
160 acres of beans caught a disease and all died.
Oh wow.
And I wanted to puke. I called my buddy, and I'm like, dude, what happened to that field? And he's like, and I don't know what it's called, but he's like, yep, we just were there this morning. They're dead. We're going to
Yeah.
be picking them in a week or two. And I'm like, I can't catch a break.
Yeah. Just
So,
stressing.
yeah, and I thought with the standing beans being luscious and green, I know where he's laying. I can come in from the backside, and I had lots of pictures of him. And I was like, pretty much in my head, he was dead. So, beans get cut, and late September, he disappears, and he is gone. I mean, no sight, no pictures, no nothing again. And I'm like, whatever. He finally died. He's 6. He didn't look healthy coming out of his 5.5-year-old year. Then he didn't put on any inches. He lost 30. I'm like, he literally went and died somewhere. Like, there's no way he didn't at this point. So, but looking at historical of when he shows up and where he's at and everything it's crazy because, I mean, literally within a couple of days, almost every year, he's in an area. Every single year, he's in an area. So I just was like, I'm going to keep hunting. I got some other deer to chase. Don't think I had a booner that year.
Yeah. You poor guy. Oh, I feel
I know that
terrible.
dude. That
I
might
feel
have been the
so
only
bad for
year.
you.
I know. I mean, I had a mid-50s for sure. Um,
Well,
and
okay.
I'm so spoiled.
You are.
uh,
I'm glad you know
but
it. It's all good.
we're hunting. We were hunting some other deer, and early November, I had my buddy from northern Michigan down, and I had a beautiful 9-point come walking by me, and I thought he was gonna dip into the woods, cross the creek, and go right to my buddy, and he's never killed a deer in Ohio. And I mean, he was 40s probably, and he come to the creek and drank right underneath me at 8 yards, and I watched him. I'm like, nope, he's gonna go to Garrett. Let him kill him. You don't need to. He's
Yeah.
not what you're after. And boy, he turned around and walked away, and I wanted to puke
Yeah.
because he was
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's always the worst, dude. Trust me. I've been there plenty of times, and when you watch them walk away, you're like, did I just mess up? Did
Yeah, 100%. I
like
actually sent my
man?
wife a Snapchat and said, "I'm stupid."
Yeah. No. It is what it is, man. No, and that's you know what? That's good karma. That's probably why you ended up having the luck you did with that steer. So
So,
he made it through that season, right? Are you at
well,
the end of that
so
season now? Or?
no,
Okay.
that's early November.
Okay.
Thanksgiving week, and I don't know what it is, but I love to hunt the week of Thanksgiving. It's so
I
good for some
agree.
reason.
There and then the
Um,
first week of December is fire for me. I've had some of the
well,
biggest deer that I've killed have been in that time frame.
we have gun week that week, so I mean, when the first bang goes off, the big boys, in my opinion, are hunkering down because they know. I mean,
Yeah.
if they have any sort of maturity, they hear the banging, they're leaving. They're finding
Yeah.
a hole and they're not leaving. So we get to that week of Thanksgiving, and I was packing the kids up one day for school, and I was running a different cell camera brand that year, and ding, ding, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning almost. There should be nothing on the camera that was pinging. There should be nothing that's sending me notifications. So I'm like, it's got to be a raccoon or a squirrel or whatever. And I open it up, and there's 3 bucks leaving that thicket that hunter was in 3 years prior. And I'm like,
I got
they're
you.
running to it. an open ag field in broad daylight. Something is up.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to grab my stuff. But I dropped the boys off at school and hauled mailed out there and turned, off the highway onto the county road. And I'm looking, and there's two little bucks, further east than I've ever seen him. But the one picture kind of resembled him, but I was like, there's just no way, like it's been 2 months. There's no way. And I literally come up to stop sign, hang a left, and there he stands in some dude's backyard.
Really?
And I'm like, where in the Sam hell have you been? And I can't send a text message to my wife fast enough because I'm just like a kid in a candy store thrilled.
Yeah.
And, and he's not 200 inches, but it's a story at this point. He's,
Yeah.
he's probably 165.
Yeah.
So
Shoot.
the dumb part on me is I had knocked on that farmer's door that summer. That summer. And he gave me permission, and I never once went and hung a trail camera over there. Stupid. Yeah. I don't know why. And because I was getting him so frequent all summer over on me, like, I never went that far. Didn't think he was going that far. Well, here there was a doe out there that must have been in heat because there was 4 bucks that would not leave this cut corn. So I know a gentleman lives across the road. I sat in his driveway until I watched where he went. And, well, for the most part, my truck was literally almost out of gas, so I had to leave. But I assumed where he was going. Ran home, got all my stuff, grabbed a stand, went back, knocked on that farmer's door, nobody's home. So now I'm looking for a phone number all over, calling my dad, do you know so-and-so, calling the neighbor guy I know, and he's like, I don't have a phone number, I know him. So I'm like, I'm gonna send this dude's driveway all day, I don't care. Like, this is where I'm at. So, knocked on the door again, nobody comes to the door. Dude, this is, like, he's gotta be in that block of woods. Has to be. So, I'm sitting in the driveway, no joke, probably a good hour and a half, and the freaking front door opens, and his wife comes out. She's like, hi, how long have you been sitting in the driveway? And I'm like, a while. And she's like, well, how can I help you? And I'm like, well, I really wanted to talk to Mister because he had given me permission to hunt and hang some cameras, and the deer I've been chasing, I saw him in your cornfield this morning. Do you think he would care if I, went in and hung a stand for to hunt tonight? She's like, I'll give you his cell phone number, give him a call. So I call him, and he's super cool about it. And he's like, well, I thought you were going to be here this summer. I did give somebody else permission. They did kill a deer. And there is another guy that might be in and out of there. And I'm like, I need to hunt this week. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, it's yours for the week. I'll tell everybody else, it's yours. And I'm like, you don't expect that out of the landowner. I was beyond thankful.
Right.
So, had another nice 10-point on camera. He was in that group and resembled him a lot. To this day, I have no idea what happened to that deer. But that woods had been hit with a tornado like our woods had the summer of 23. So that was a whole huge game changer on my end because my woods went from wide open to you couldn't even see through it anymore. Right. So I had to that's when I got into kind of the hang and bang situation because I had to completely relearn how to hunt that 15 acres. Right. Every single tree.
So you were more mobile once you got into there.
Yeah. So every single tree I had to stand in or used to hang cameras on was blown over.
Right.
Or I couldn't get to it. Yeah. So that made it really hard for the year he was, pushing 200.
Right.
So then my mom had it all cleaned up the year he was 6.5. So I thought maybe that's why it kind of pushed him out and he kind of left. And so this guy gave me permission over there, hang a stand, and had the video camera running. Had seen deer all night, and I don't know, half hour before dark, all I see is tines coming right down their horse trail. And I'm like, here we go, finally. Like, I've got his number. The wind is perfect in my favor, and he is going to come right by me at literally 15 yards. So he's coming, and all I see is, tines. And he comes, and I draw, and I didn't even stop him. He stops and looks at me, and it's not him.
Yeah.
It's a 155-inch deer, 10-inch, standing 15 yards, and I'm like, just, it literally gut instinct, don't shoot him. He could be right behind him. Yeah. So he turns his head, goes up to the cornfield, and I drop my draw. And I really wanted to puke. because I'm like, you are an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, that deer is beautiful, and he's feeding in the cornfield.
Right.
So, I don't know, 10 minutes goes by, and my deer comes out the horse trail on the other end. And he comes, and that doe that was hot must have still been hot, because, boy, they ran her around that cornfield like no other.
No kidding. That's
And,
awesome.
it was fun to watch. 4 or 5 of them just back and forth pushing her, and she wasn't having it, but they were, like, stink on crap. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fun to watch for sure. So she come down a little. They were staying in the water in the corn, and she come down around that and was button hooking right to me, and he was right on her tail, and got to 46 yards, and I screwed up on a big deer past 40. So like 40 is my limit. I really want him at 30, but 40, like, just so many variables can happen. It's late,
No,
I don't
I
like
agree
it.
with you.
So he's 46 yards, and I let him go. And the next night, wind changed. I hung a stand midday over on the other end and saw a whole bunch of deer. Didn't see him. The next night, did the same thing. The following day would have been Thanksgiving. So I'm in there, and Thanksgiving night, I see everybody in the family gets sick on Thanksgiving. My wife's like, "You've seen him 2 nights in a row. Go hunt him." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah. Like, nobody else is gonna be hunting tonight. Go kill him." Okay. Like, I'm not passing up an opportunity. If you're cool with it, fine.
Yeah.
So I get back in that same tree, didn't see a single deer all night. Not a one. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck? So I'm not one to leave early. But before I got pinned in there, I wanted to get down. So drop my bow, swing around the tree, and I hear a stick break in the woods. I'm like, what the heck? So I take my head back around, and a doe steps out 30 yards. He stepped out right behind her.
Yeah.
My bow's on the
Man.
ground.
Yeah.
I am stuck on my freaking sticks, 1 foot up, 1 foot down. I'm in a very uncomfortable position, and he's inside 30 yards. And I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe it. Like,
Was it shooting light or no?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I could see him plain as day. And
Man,
I know,
rule of
just,
thumb: don't ever put your bow down till it's over. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
unless
I don't
you
ever
can like
leave.
visually see your deer out there like way in the field. Like I get it during that, but
No, I do not leave early anymore.
yeah,
Like,
no, I'm sure
it does not
you
happen.
learned a very valuable lesson. Yeah,
And actually, since that night, I've sat in the woods probably an hour plus after dark, because I'd rather be pinned. So, that was the last sighting of him there. And actually, 4 days later, he was on camera back in my mom's woods, like 3/4 mile back the other
okay,
way. So the same camera he hit last in September, he came right back by it to go home. And I was like, cool. And then he was there the next night, and he was there the next night. And I'm like, all right, well, we're just going to wait for some temp drops and whatever else. And we had an appointment for my son January 17th. And I told my wife, I'm like, we have to reschedule that. She's like, we can't. We've
yeah,
waited for weeks for him. I'm like, that's going to be the coldest night of the week. The wind is right. I'm telling you, it's not going to end in my favor. And she's like, we don't have a choice. And she's so lenient. Like, I didn't argue, but I told her, I'm like, so the 14th he's there, the 15th he's there, closer to daylight. The 16th he missed daylight by like 25 minutes. And I'm like, man, it's going to happen. It, like, you just know.
yeah,
And walk out of that appointment with half-hour daylight left, and watch my phone, and boom, there he is, 10 minutes
yeah,
before dark. And I'm like, I told you. She's like, I'm sorry.
right,
But we didn't have a choice.
yeah.
So, and that was
Welcome to
overfeed.
fatherhood. Yeah.
I know. And I love all 3 of them to death. I wouldn't change anything for the
get it.
world.
I
So,
get it. No, but
but
I've been
it's
there.
just,
That's rough. That's a rough one. But look, it
just,
was meant to be.
right,
So
100%.
he makes it through that year, right?
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
we're at this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. So this was that year, 6.5. So what's
Man.
wild is here's his 3.5 side.
Yeah, so
And
he's always kept on that like 6-point genetic, huh?
Yeah. So
That's cool.
I mean, but he went from this to this.
Yeah, that's
So
mind blowing.
you're just doesn't even look like the same deer.
No, that's crazy.
So then, I knew he lived. I found that shed nowhere close to where I found the other 4 or 3, and got permission down there. We had seen him in the crowd field down where I ended up finding that shed in some swamp ground, and hung cameras. My mom contemplated selling the property, and I begged her to not do it. Like, just give me one more year, please.
Yeah.
So that year I did put a overhaul plot in from Domain. And when they did the logging, they cleared out a spot to stack the logs over on the far end to take them down the lane. So I planted that, and the logging trail I just laced with trail cameras. And he was in our woods this past summer like he had never been before. But what I really changed on top of it being thicker was my human intrusion. When I tell you I was in that woods less than 5 times from the end of deer season in 23 to the start of deer season in 24, that is no joke. Hung trail cameras, put them on solar, put them on backup, one way or another. I did not run feed all summer. Had mineral sites, and I just loaded them down. And I had one stand over that clover plot, the overhaul. It's got some other stuff mixed in it, but it was mainly clover, buckwheat. And I was pretty much dead set that's where I was going to kill him.
Okay.
And we'd had a couple run-ins with neighbors, and we weren't going to be allowed to track anything. So, I was determined I had to kill him in the heart of our woods because it does this to hopefully keep him in there.
Okay.
So we hunted early. I got lots of summertime. Daylight picture after daylight. Had the cornfield to the east, which is huge. That's what I like standing corn on the edge of our woods. It's perfect. He uses a waterway.
It just makes
so
a great
much.
little edge habitat for him.
Yeah, and I've never seen a specific deer use waterways like he did. Like, I had his number on a waterway.
Okay.
So we're in Tennessee in September, and the kid that works for the farmer, sends me a picture going down the farm road in a combine. Come in and ruin your day. And I'm like, dude, I need a week.
Yeah.
I need opening week, please. And he's like, we're going to test it. We'll see what happens. And I'm like, all right. So I'm, nowhere close to home. We're in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I'm watching the weather day after day after day. And that afternoon, we have thunderstorms coming, and I am just praying to God they don't get that corn off.
Yeah.
Because season opens Saturday when we get home.
Right.
So they open it up and they stopped. So I'm just like, thank the Lord. Like, I do still stand a chance there. He doesn't have that direct cover along the wood line, but there's still 150 acres of corn probably or more.
Mm-hmm.
So had some early pictures of him, which was very weird because he had always left. So, but I don't like to hunt early unless I have a legitimate reason or a couple days pictures or, something.
Yeah.
So I sent my wife down to the far end, and she's like, I'm getting busted. I'm getting blown at. I'm like, okay, well, then we're staying out of that bottom end. What? I don't want to spook him out of there because he's using the top end. She was hunting a probably 5.5-year-old 8-point. That's a bully, and he actually plowed my deer in the farmer's alfalfa field when he was 5. Like a bull. It was insane. Just ran him clean over, and my deer, I've never seen the deer I ended up killing fight ever. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, so she was hunting that other one. She's like, we got to get him killed because I think it's just going to free up the habitat for the big one. And I'm like, I completely agree. Get in there, get him killed. And never seen him. She didn't see mine. Seen a couple nice ones. So had some pictures of him. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to try. Hunted a couple days in mid-October. Took my youngest out. He shot a buck opening weekend. We weren't lucky enough to find him. Took him out. He shot, I think he did shoot a doe with a crossbow. He was 5. So he is 8 up in it already.
That's awesome, man.
So, we got out, or she got out. I took her a couple times. No luck. I shot a doe opening morning actually, which I don't ever hunt opening morning, but because of that corn was cut, I thought just maybe I might catch him coming or going, in that 50-yard opening.
Right.
So we get to late October, and I'm not a 9 to 5 guy. I work as many hours as I have to get the job done because I'm looking for the next one.
Yeah.
So I go to work on a Saturday. It was October 26th, I think, maybe, and we were supposed to go trick or treating with our uh, kids over the campground that night over at my mom's. And as the days going by, I'm not getting out of work. I'm not going to make it over there. But trick or treat was at like 5 o'clock or all the campers or something. It was early, so I'm like, I'm not going to make it. Can I go to the woods? And she's like, absolutely. She's like, he was in there last night. He was in there the night before. I'm like, I haven't actually put a set in for him. I really want to go sit over that clover plot. And she's like, okay, just go. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Um, you're gonna go actual trick or treat night with us. Like, I know I hate missing stuff for the kids, but it just everything for some reason seemed really right that night. And when I tell you we kept log data of barometric pressure and the moon phase and wind and what he was moving in, he never moved in high pressure, but he liked a north or south wind, and I couldn't figure out why. I think I know why now, but so nothing was right that night. I mean, nothing. High pressure. It was warm. It was early season. It was late October, so it's still pretty early for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just get my stand and some deer feed into that food plot early, and I had drank a lot of water and a couple cans of pop at work all day, working outside. And them deer leave the food plot, and I stand up and I got to take a leak. Whatever. You gotta go. So I turn around, dude. I can't even make it up. You feel like you're being watched. You get that feeling like someone's watching you take a freaking leak.
Mm-hmm.
And something hit me in the back of my mind. Like, there's no way he's standing in the food plot watching me, right? And I'm standing there, and I look over this shoulder, and I see antlers coming down the logging trail. Dude, no way. You've got to be kidding me. So I turn around real slow, try to grab my binocs for here, and I turn, and he's kind of like this, ducked, and got some leaves in here, and I couldn't tell it was him.
Yeah.
But I've been spotted. 100% I've been spotted. And I was like, well, he's at 35 yards, whatever it is. Get your bow in your hand because it's big. And so I grab my bow, and he takes one step at me and bounds out of there. And dude, you want to talk about wanting to puke. Like,
yeah.
It was over. That was it. He was an hour before dark.
For you. Yeah.
You get that gut feeling sometimes, and for some reason, when I was cleaning up at work, and I called my wife, and it's like, "Can I go?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Sweet, like, this is it."
Yeah.
And it 100% should have been. Oh, dude, I literally shed tears in the tree stand.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
understandable.
It was a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
So
you brushed
stayed out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, brushed it off, stayed out of there. I was mentally defeated, mad at myself. Sent her hunting a couple more times, took the youngin a couple more times. I had hunted November. I did go back on that, so it must have been a week and a half, week later, November 4th. That bully 8 come through our woods. I mean, with a man on a mission. I mean, looking for does, scent checking, everything. And he stayed at like 42 yards, and I was like, if he comes at 30, I'm going to kill him. He's 5 or 6. He's a bully. I mean, the body on the deer is insane. And at this point, I'm starting to get a lot of broken deer in the woods. Yeah. And I've got a couple up and comers that I want to stay around. And he is an a-hole of a deer. It's bad. So I'm just like, all right, he comes back by at 30 yards, he's dead. 35 maybe. I'm gonna hit him. And my wife's like, don't. You're gonna be mad. Don't do it. And I'm like, it's the right thing to do. Like, at the end of the day, he's mature. He needs to go. You're just gonna have to. When I say you got to go hunt the big one, you've got to go hunt the big one, because it wasn't my deer to kill. I didn't care. Like, if she shoots him, I'm just as happy.
Right.
So he ends up running the doe back down the backside of the property. Didn't matter. Didn't shoot him. So, looking back on history, had lots and lots and lots of early November, nighttime pictures, videos in the area. He basically ran our whole block of woods, the 8th and 9th, when he was 3, and again at 4, but then he kind of, then he disappeared. But so he was gone. But I'm like, that second week of November could be killer, because that's when he's been in there. If he's in there, that's when he's been in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I watched cameras. I told her, I think she went out the 10th, and then we had some stuff going on the 11th, 12th, and neither one of us hunted. And the night of the 11th, I got a picture of him on the logging trail, kind of leaving our woods. And then the morning of the 12th, he came back. And then the night of the 12th, he was in the middle of the woods, and I'm like, he's in there.
Yeah.
Why? Why is he in there? He's in there a lot. And it was like, cameras a couple hundred yards apart, and he's hitting them. He's hitting them. He's hitting them. And I'm like, I told her she could go hunting the night of the 13th, but just as the date, I ended up getting a picture of him the morning of the 13th, like daylight. I don't remember time exactly, but I'm like, he was kind of in a pinch. The logging trail comes up and pinches along the right-of-way fence, and it's probably 75, 80 yards wide. So like, if I'm in the middle of that pinch, I can shoot to the right-of-way fence, or I can shoot to that
You got
hillside.
good
It's 40
spot to
yards either
dump
way.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
And if he comes back if he comes back through there, I've got him broadside in either direction. So I called her and I'm like, I'm going to the woods tonight. And she's like, seriously? This is my night to hunt. And I'm like, I know, but like, tonight's the night. She's like, okay. I said, I'm telling you, tonight's the night. So didn't have a stand where I wanted to stand. And the one she was in is a really good gun stand, but she had said she had been busted in it a couple times. So I didn't want to be in that stand because it needs moved, but it's kind of crested over a hill. So when they come to the hillside, you're kind of eye level with them.
Right.
So both of my hang and hunt systems were out from the previous week. I had to obviously move away from the stand I had been busted in because I wasn't sitting in that one anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I hung one 30 yards further down the tree line and left it because I thought I still stood a chance to get in that. So I called a buddy. I'm like, hey, can I borrow your hanging hunt system? And he's like, it's at the house. You're going to have to go get it. And I'm like, I don't have time. I'm leaving work. I got to go shower. I've got to be in a tree by 3 o'clock. I'm not. My friends hate me because I go to the woods late. I'm terrible about going to the woods late. But like, again, I'm finished work and I'm going.
Yeah.
So, I ran home. I showered, grabbed my clothes, and I don't know do you get dressed at the tree or at the truck, or do you wear your clothes in your truck?
It just depends on what's going on that day, dude. If I'm working, I'll bring a duffel bag with my camo and I'll do it that way. It really does vary. If I'm at home, then I'll change here and just drive in the truck with my camo. I'm not
Right.
your big scent enthusiast, if I'll be honest with
Right.
you. I try to hunt the wind and I stay mobile. I would say 95% of my season, it's like I'm hunting a hang and hunt.
Right.
So
yeah. So I am not a big like spray scent guy, trying to cover your scent, that type of thing. Yeah. But 100% I'm hunting the wind as much as possible, and I wash my clothes. Dude, if I'm hunting, if I'm hunting 3 or 4 nights a week, they're getting washed once a week.
Okay.
I did buy a scent crusher bag this year. I don't know how I feel about it.
But
that's
what I have. It's pretty much
I use
my
less
regiment.
so I use the crap out of it. But I came home, I showered, grabbed my clothes, they go in a scent-free tote, and I get dressed when I park on the highway. So I actually called my dad. And I'm like, hey, I need you to drop me off. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because this sounds really stupid, but he knows when somebody's in those woods. If a vehicle's close, his whole attitude changes. I've seen him act funny. Scouting missions, he sees a vehicle like anywhere close, he's on high alert when he sees a vehicle.
Yeah.
So I park on the highway and I jump the right-of-way fence, and my dad's like, I can't. And my wife's at work. My buddy's a firefighter, so he's at work for 24 hours, and my brothers are both at work, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna park a little further up than I normally do, and kind of backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had to actually go pull a stand, the one I shot my doe out of from opening day. It was still hanging, so I went and pulled it, got down, got dressed, went in, stood at the base of the tree. We had a southeast wind. So it's blowing to the highway, which I have found is the best freaking thing in the world. If you can dump your wind into a road or a pond or lake, dude, it's
and
you can't be beat.
Traffic is like, it'll pull your thermals that way too.
Yeah. So, but the easterly was my issue. If I got too much east, I was in trouble if he come back through that pinch point that I had mentioned.
All right.
But
So you get
so
set up. You pulled your
yeah, I
stand.
guess
You got your new
yep, I
stick.
get set up, but I was in the same tree that I should have shot him at when he was 4.5 when I bumped my release.
Okay.
And I stood at the base of that tree, and I'm probably 20 minutes, and I'm like, don't do it. It's bad. Don't do it. Because
Yeah.
it's in the back of your mind, and you didn't kill him out of it. Don't do it. But there wasn't anything closer to the logging trail, and I was really hoping he was going to come back down that logging trail because I'd used the crap out of it that week.
Mm-hmm.
But something just told me to get back in that tree. So I got hung, got clipped in, and I looked over to my logging trail, and there's 2 little trees that were blocking any shot to that logging trail, and I'm like, this is not good. Like I can't leave them. So I climbed back down, snapped them both off real quick at the base, and climbed back up my tree, got my camera set, and it's 3:08 in the afternoon. So, and I said 3 o'clock, and dude, I look over the hill, and just like that, he's coming up over the hill off that logging trail, and I can't. It's 3:08 in the afternoon. I can't believe it, and I'm just, excuse me, talking to yourself through every situation. Don't screw this up. Like
Yeah.
I had the picture of him that morning. I texted a buddy and I'm like, he's 200 inches for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
he blew back up. He's got 16-inch twos. He's 14 or 15-inch threes, 10-inch brows. Like he's gonna be 200 inches. And he's like, no, he's not. Don't do that to yourself. I'm like, even he's not. He's a giant. I don't care.
Yeah. He's a mega giant.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So he comes up over the hill, and I literally had my phone out taking a video of him. And yeah.
Not what I was expecting at all.
Right. Well, my camera's over here, and I didn't have my camera arm.
Okay.
It was on a tree screw in for a trail camera, but I could,
Okay.
I could just move that handle if he come down the logging trail. Well, he come
Right.
up and he come across the woods in front of me and was working towards the highway. And there was one right when I stopped my trail camera video. Anyway, I'll show it to you real quick, or my phone video. There was a trail that literally came to the base of my tree.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm like,
came to it. You just send it to me on Instagram or something. I'll check it out. We'll post
okay,
it up with the
okay.
podcast.
So he comes that trail and he crosses it. And if he would have came to it, I mean, it's so thick, he was literally going to end up right at the base of my tree. Like I'm going to have to put an arrow in his back or his chest, and I'm very thankful he didn't. But he went up and behind a big down tree and bedded down at 55 yards. And at this point, I'm sick. Like, this is a cruel game. Like, come on, just
But you
walk
got
over
time,
here.
right? You got what?
Yeah,
Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I had plenty of time. But very thankful he laid down because it gave me so much time to relax. Because when he started coming in, I was like a leaf in tornado winds. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure.
Dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
So, you're talking to yourself, calm yourself down. It's like this, if he gets up and he goes west, no chance. But if he gets up and he goes back south, he can still come left to me. Or if he gets up and walks towards the fence and he comes right, he has to come by me. So I hit my wind check, and we got a lot of southeast. And I'm watching that wind check, and he's going to get locked up in my wind check at 30, 35 yards.
Right.
And there's no shot placement. And I'm just like freaking out because if that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's going to bound out of there again. And I can't deal with it twice in 2 weeks, I don't think.
Yeah.
So he stands up and he's literally watching traffic. I mean, I wish I'd had the video footage because it was amazing. And watching traffic, and all of a sudden he just turns right like he's coming right up the fence row. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Yeah. And it was like 3:20 something, I think. So I put my phone back in my pocket and hit my rangefinder again, trying to find a spot to squeeze an arrow, when he gets to a certain point, because I know he's going to lock up. And for some reason it hit me. I had a bottle of Dopey right next to me in my pack. And when I tell you I sprayed it, into that wind to carry as fast and as hard as I could until he got to 40 yards, I can't even make it up. Like, yeah. I mean, just doused the tree, my leg, and anything I could get it on to cover. and he got to 35 yards and probably 30 because he never came any closer. He got 30 and locked up and just scent checked the crap out of everything and stood there and stood there and stood there. And my phone's right here and I'm looking. It's like he'd been there for a couple minutes and I'm a bow's here and I'm knocked and he's facing me. So now you're telling yourself, make him screw up, but you got to get an arrow in him. He's in bow range, but he's facing me. I mean, and I'm not shooting high poundage. I had switched to mechanical, which I like. I like a fixed blade typically, but I'd switched to mechanical because I'm 100 yards from two property lines, one way or another. Yeah. So I wanted blood. I wanted good blood, and I just, so that's what I had changed to. And he was calm, cool, and collected. I mean, being straight downwind of me, I couldn't believe it. But I really think the doe piss saved my butt like no other. And
you got to get to the story. You're killing me here.
Yeah, sorry. So he turns, he kind of gets on high alert, and he looks right at my truck on the highway, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And like, so I knew it was over.
Yeah.
And and I don't know that he knows my truck per se, but there was
I know.
There's a vehicle, joking. And he's downwind of me. He sees the vehicle. He knows something's wrong. Something's up. And so I'm like, it's now or never. And so I put my rangefinder right on his tail end, hoping he would completely spin around and stop. And I was going to squeeze an arrow one way or another somewhere. And just like that, he dropped his head and turned, and I drew, and he stopped, and I had a window. Dude, it couldn't have been this big.
Yeah. And
he was quartering away hard, and I freaking drilled him. And I saw blood fly immediately, and so it was a 2-inch beast, and it wouldn't have mattered because come to find out, he ran right back through that bed. He went from right over to the hill where I saw him and fell over at 40 yards from me.
Heck yeah.
And
did you watch him go down?
I watched him fall.
Oh,
it was, there's no feeling like it. I mean, and all you want to do is go see how big he is. But I couldn't talk. I couldn't get, my hands felt like they were going to explode because you just ended a 5-year story. Like, not even the fact that he's an absolute giant, but the fact of the countless hours spent chasing him, the trail camera footage.
There's no substitute. I've only had one deer that I chased for 3 years, and he ended up only being like a 130, but he went from a 150 class to a 130, and the emotions I felt over that deer, like it just goes to show, like sometimes it's not about the inches. I mean, for your caliber deer, he had the story, the size. I mean, like that's a deer of anybody's lifetime and dreams. So, I mean,
I won't top it. I mean, I might have an opportunity to chase one bigger, but
you're a young guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
but the storyline, you might not ever top that story.
No,
never.
Honestly, there's no way. I don't know how I'll ever. If I get to chase a deer for 3 years, I'll be happy. But to chase one for 5, like, I'm so thankful that my wife missed him and that the crossbow bolt didn't kill him. And like,
man.
So I'm gonna find out he was actually.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
He was shot in the back hip at 5.5. So that's probably why he lost all those inches at 6.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a broadhead found in his back hip.
Yep.
So I'm just thankful he lived. I mean, at that point.
Yeah.
So
no, man, it's honestly like the trials and tribulations are what make, in my opinion, like the victory so much sweeter. But man, like I honestly, the heartache you went through for this deer, like I'm super thankful that you got him and not some just random dude that just smoked him during rifle season, And
I was told anything and everything from neighbors, like, "Oh, hey, the big one was dead. Oh, hey, the big one was hit on the road." And then I got people sending me trail camera pictures of big 10 points getting killed close, and and I did have
after that got killed.
Yeah. So like it just, it was a lot of downs, a whole lot of downs before a really good up. I mean, and there was great ups, like just the relief of knowing he lived and finding some sheds, and I mean it was fun, but it was also very what's the word I'm looking for? Drowning, stressful. I guess. Stressful,
like you were a little bit like I've said it, like remorseful almost. Like you were sad to see him die. Like you were oh my gosh, the journey, like being over. Is that what you were kind of pointing at? Or
as soon as he fell, it hit me. I'm never gonna get a trail camera picture of him again. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and and
Oh,
not and
you've
feel
spent
so weird.
years. Yeah, you've spent years chasing them, and then when that happens, man, it's like this void of like just almost like losing a person or something. And like, I think only like a diehard, deer hunter would understand that feeling.
My wife was like, "I
But
feel like you shot a pet." Like, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and not that he was a pet deer by no
no,
means, but
no,
like
I get
he
it,
was
I get it. You
is a
guys
part of the
talked about
family.
him.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, he'll
yeah,
always be a part of the family
he'll
now. I
always be
mean,
a part of the family.
yeah,
So I didn't tell you a cool thing. We named him Kryptonite.
yeah,
So when my wife missed him, he was an 11 pointer,
yeah.
and her unlucky number is 11.
Okay.
And she said something about he's an 11 point, and that's my kryptonite or something. And I'm like, that's his name. It's perfect.
Yeah,
So we called him Crip his entire life.
that's
So,
awesome, man.
and I was told I was dumb by so many people. Like, shoot a
Wow.
deer. You got to shoot a deer. And I'm like, listen, it is him or nothing at this point. Like,
Yeah.
if I know he dies or is killed or whatever else, fine. But
Do you have
until
any regrets at all?
zero,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
exactly. No,
And I could have shot 5 deer in the last 5 years,
but look at
and he
how
still could have
much
been
you've
alive.
learned. Yeah, look at how much you've learned and grown chasing that one specific deer, and like
Oh,
it's only gonna make your hunting that much better, man. Like you've learned a lot about how deer use embedding, like just, and every deer is different. Like they've all got their own personalities and their own stories, and like they each do stuff a little bit different, but you learned a ton by doing what you did, and it's super
a
challenging
ton.
hunting small parcels.
In passing the other deer that I let go and chasing a couple other deer that I was chasing, like it was in the back of my mind, it was probably always him or nothing. Even
Yeah.
I picked my bow up for that bull he ate this past season, and that's the only time I picked my bow up since killing that deer in 18 for a
Well,
buck.
now get out there and kill you a few 140, 150 class deer,
Dude,
man, and just have some fun with it.
I can't wait. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I don't
awesome.
want to go. I don't want to kill 2-year-olds by no means,
No,
or
no,
even probably
no.
a
I
3-year-old.
say
But
keep
like,
it at 4 and let her fly, man.
yeah,
Like if you know
yeah,
that deer's mature, like don't be one of those guys out there just chasing 190s now.
it's not happening. I can
I didn't
assure you
think
of
so.
that.
I know,
No
it's not.
way.
I know you well enough to know that much, but no, man.
Don't get me wrong. If I find a 190, I'm gonna go find a way to hunt it. But
Poor guy,
I
poor
did.
guy's always gonna be chasing that freaking Boone and Crockett every year. Just
I did
nah,
have
nah.
one. I had high hopes for one. I saw him after muzzleloader this year, and I knocked on doors and made phone calls and knocked on doors and knocked on doors. And some kid come up to me at Columbus and said, "Hey, you see that rack that I found?" And I'm like, "No." He shows me a picture, and I'm like, "Where was that?" And he told me, and I'm like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me." He
Is
was
it
hit
the
on the
one that
freaking
you're?
road.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude,
So
that show, I
that
swear, man, you could go to that show every year and walk away with a handful of spots to go hunt.
oh,
Just from
people
the
just
amount of
puke you
people.
intel.
Oh my, yeah, we've got to not to go down a rabbit hole of that, but y'all got to stop talking about these giant deer because people are going to end up hearing
Yeah,
them and going after them, and it's just going to ruin it for you. So if you're chasing a giant buck, keep it to your very close friends and make sure they can keep their mouth shut because loose lips
and
ain't
I'm gonna
shit.
tell you, one thing I learned. I used to send trail camera pictures to my brothers and my friends and everything else, and be as happy as you want to be that you got a monster buck on camera, but show them off of your phone.
Right.
That's the best thing that I've learned. And I do have 3 guys that I know for a fact I can send trail camera pictures to, and they go absolutely nowhere. But
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's good to have
nobody
those
else
friends
anymore.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be
You want to see
careful who
him?
you're sending pictures to. Yep. Now I've had the pleasure of holding him, man. When are you getting the mount back?
Well, I got an old guy that does my taxidermy work, and he does
Yeah.
really good work. So
Nice.
it's going to be probably another year, which kills me. But
Hey, you got that skull cap, man. That's awesome.
yeah,
So
I just
total taped out. What was he? Grossing you?
190, 192 and 4/8.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Well, Garrett, this one has gone a little longer than I was hoping for, but man, I've
Yeah, sorry.
thoroughly no, don't be sorry at all. That's not why I was saying it. I've thoroughly enjoyed this story. It's been a blast. I hope all you guys are still tuned in and still listening to this, and we appreciate you. Garrett, where can everybody keep up with you, man, and keep up to date with all the stuff coming out?
Instagram is just Garrett Stoops. I
We'll
don't
be sure
I
to
don't
tag
post.
you.
Yeah, I don't post a whole lot of stuff, but I'm gonna start. For the domain for our Joe at Ozio, we're gonna start doing some stuff.
Yeah.
As some just some short reels and stuff, and with my little guy going, got a trip planned for him this year. I'm gonna hunt Kentucky this year.
Cool.
Might try to get Missouri late October. We'll see, but I got an invite out there, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely. It's nice to feel like I can leave because
That's a whole
I have
nother
now.
journey, man. That's a ton of fun too, and you don't stress so much about the size too. It's just like, hey, put something mature in front of me and I'm sending an
Yeah,
arrow,
right.
like,
Well, and I haven't wanted to leave.
yeah,
When you got a mature deer in a story, like I did not
no,
want
I
to leave
get
the
it.
state.
I get it.
So
Yeah.
now I'm excited.
Yeah.
I got a small spot in Kentucky, so we're gonna start there.
Well, dude, it's been a blast catching up with you, man. I wish you nothing but the best this season. Stay in touch with me. And yeah, I guess I'll see you at the show circuit.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Yep. Have a good one.